So Ramesh, Lee actually said that he has a deadline, so which is the reason why he had to leave early, and
Okay,
hence yeah, he won't be in this call.
okay.
So I mean, essentially so in this call, we usually also have Sako,
Hmm?
but this week he's also not going to be joining because he has an exam.
Okay,
That he's going to the university, right? So he has an exam, so just reason why he's not going to be here.
okay.
So do you have any updates for us?
Yeah,
Um,
so actually, last time, if you remember, we tried to run that thing. We had some issues on my Go thing, and we left off from there. And I didn't have time because work was too crazy. I slept at 2 o'clock 2 days back and woke up at 6 o'clock. And I was like, I mean, you have your hands are kind of tied. I have taken this responsibility, and because if I walk away, the whole thing collapses. Right now, they're using me like an anchor man. I, voluntarily said yes because it was a critical project. But at the same time, I mean, I have to deal with three teams. Philippines team, India team, and here, and it was so terrible for me. It's like forcefully not sleeping, right? It's like you had to be there, in their time and somebody else's time and your time. I was and then so finally the project is delivered for this Friday. Friday and Monday I'll take off because I am so like crushed from all sides. So I just want to have a deep breathe and relax. And then I am starting a new assignment with Brillo. It's a realtor.com. So it's all React. So I'll get just one, front end only kind of stuff, not like backend, some web logic server, something else. Too many things, I mean, you can do a lot of things, but you need time. You only 24 hours per day. So, yeah. So I think Sako fixed it, right? Something he said he showed a demo last Friday.
Yeah,
That
he was working on this WRK integration, and he hasn't completed it, but he did make a little bit of progress last week.
okay,
So we are still working on kind of getting it completely cleaned up
okay,
and in a format so that we can put it inside Meshery and then consume it.
okay, okay,
There is another person, another student from India. He is working on the UI for that change which Sako is doing in the backend.
okay.
So hopefully we'll have that whole thing in very quickly. So
Okay,
probably early next week is kind of what I can say we might have the changes in, because
okay,
the front end there's not much change, so it's
okay,
mostly the back end support which was needed.
okay.
Sago almost has it, so we're just going to almost work with him to finish it off so we can put it together.
Sure. And I have this Amazon solutions architect interview this weekend, this Friday. Do you have any tips, just generally? Because I got into learning this Istio. Actually, Istio thing was kind of new for me, and I kind of got a like a bare bone, like a what do you call workflow of it, how it works. But then I had gone to some interview with process automation anywhere. So okay, tell me this logging and all this stuff. How will you manage? And I was kind of not really in my head. I had not mapped that Istio can take care of all that stuff. I said, well, you log in every applications, and then you have some Grafana dashboard or something, and you can. So he was trying to imply that how much Istio I know, because in Istio you can actually inject this Istio into all the machines, so you don't have to ask developers to log it. So he was trying to get to know how much I know about Istio, but I was not. So he has to give what is a sidecar. He was curious towards I just threw in some terms like sidecar and Istio and all this stuff. He said, okay, what's the sidecar? I said, well, sidecar is another like part of container that will actually communicate with the application. So that way, if somebody has to talk to outside world, some control Istio, it can. But I was telling him what it does, but I was not telling him what exchange they have, like in because of what kind of information they will exchange and how and all this stuff. So, but then later on, I realized like I did another video on YouTube from Istio, what all it can do, what how like Envoy from Lyft, I guess, how what they had, and then how Istio is using all those components to give an aggregated view of all the capabilities of all the components, right? So that was like okay, I'm trying to still get to know a little more on the Istio side. But in for Amazon thing, do you think you have any tips? In case it is a solution architect role for a Spot EC2 instance, so I need to know what that particular thing is because I can't go blank. So Spot EC2 instance is basically they give you usually earlier they used to bid for it, that you say I want for 5 cents or 10 cents whatever it is, but now you don't have to. I think that they you don't have to bid for it, and you will always be guaranteed. Like unlike earlier that you were not guaranteed just because you bid for it. Some things have changed. So it's basically easy to use compute, right? You're asking for a machine time temporarily. I want you can schedule it kind of stuff. And I think they're going to that model because a lot of people feel that it's getting too expensive to be on the cloud. So they're like, hey, you can be on the cloud on demand. You don't have to, go for like a long term kind of stuff. So I have been a solution architect, different places, but the role is different. Even as a solution architect, what you do, for some people it's like a BSA role, and for some people no, you have to get your hands on. Right now on CFA, I do prototyping, I mock up the application, and I make the application work. Then like a skeletal version, then I give to offshore folks. Then they just fill up the meat. So, what do you have any suggestions for generally?
No, that's a very general question, and yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a specific answer to that.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not sure if this is going to help, but I'm giving an Istio workshop on Friday in Montreal. So there was an event happening in Montreal. I think probably Lee mentioned this.
Okay.
So there are probably like about 60, 70 people, like, planning on attending the session.
Mhm.
So yeah, like, me and Lee have been giving Istio workshops. So Istio definitely is like, is very
Yeah, it's
powerful.
kind of cool. Istio, it's more like I mean, you have abstracted a lot of applications and aggregated the functionality into Istio, right? So it's basically rather than just scaling up and scaling down, you also get the telemetry, and you can through the header propagation, you can talk to specific server and all this stuff, right? But then is Istio something like ALB, what Amazon has? Because in ALB they say in ELB you just load balance, equal times, based on the things. But in case of ALB, you can go give application specific load balancing. If this condition do that, it's almost like a gateway, right? If this condition, like a little bit of gateway functionality in ALB. So I don't know if ALB does it, but through the header propagation also. But that's what it sees, right? If it is this information, go to this server. If it's a video, go to this server. If it's a, I don't know if they can configure to the level of Istio where you can pause. There are like 25th node down layer somewhere in the mesh. That will be probably like a pub sub thing, I guess. So they will be just listening, and if anything they catch in the header, it goes to that particular server. I saw some nice video on YouTube. Some guy from Google, I guess, he created a nice Istio prototype or sample. That was pretty cool. But it's like a Hello World apps that it always works pretty cool, right? When you really go deep in, and if you want to dynamically do it, see all the static things, it's easy, right? Just say I want to pass this one to this, configure it, and boom, it's done. But when you want to dynamically for service discovery, is you need to put the service name and IP address and all this stuff, right? And some application properties, whatever it is. But what if I want to dynamically do it rather than configuring it? So yeah, I mean, probably it's a lot of things to learn. The more and more I learn, the less I think I know, because there's so much things are evolving. And yeah, have you worked on Spiffy or something?
I have, like, I mean, through Istio, I have, yes.
Okay, okay. So you are totally into like you're like a guru of all the networking and Istio and all this, yeah.
I don't know if I'll call that, but I have used Istio.
Okay,
So, I mean, a year and a half back, I even wrote an adapter for Istio for the company I'm working for, SolarWinds, so that, like, all the metrics and logs from within Istio can be sent to our cloud offerings.
okay.
So yeah, like, so I've done, like, some coding with Istio,
Mhm.
by creating an adapter.
So Istio has an
Yeah,
API. Using that API, then you basically use the Istio uses some sub parts, right? So you're using an API for an API, right?
it depends on what specific thing you're talking about. I mean, like, an Istio is a lot, right? Like, an Istio has so many components. So, like, for example, like, there is a pilot, there is a mixer, and then the sidecars, like, I mean, everything has, rest things exposed
Each
so
of
that
them, really,
some
okay.
other, yeah, I mean, so that, like, other components can actually configure them, right?
Okay.
Like, so they have all this put together and working in kind of a nice synchronized way so that the whole thing appears to work, like, well
One
together.
piece. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. I need to learn more, man, because right now in our applications, I think the other day I mentioned we have two applications. One is like a master, and the other is detail. They're totally separate. Earlier, they used to send some file to the mainframe that will do some aggregation, then the child will listen and read and updates components. But now they have a requirement where when the master deletes a record, items, the children has to delete by itself, and it has to be synchronous. Microservices are not supposed to be synchronous.
right.
So I'm trying to see, when I go to a queue specialist, they say, oh, so let's have a request response queue. But then it's kind of you're tightly coupling it. You know what I mean? So you're having this very weird dilemma that I am saying, hey, let's do pub sub. But then they're saying, no, pub sub will, you don't know. Somebody, even if I publish, the subscriber there should be some observability. You know what I mean? So if nobody accesses this application, will it still happen? No, right? Because somebody has to access this application on page load of something. If he's admin, then it looks at the topic in the queue and then it'll update. But there is something called as Kafka, which is a like a PubSub thing. But then there's something called as the Golden Gate from Oracle that actually wraps around Kafka and then does this. So it will have some observability. But right now, we need some observability. Like, for example, Istio itself, right? If two components have to talk to each other, one of them just publishes, but for the other one, there should be some event that actually should trigger that reception. You know what I mean? Either some user should log in to that particular page if he's an admin, or somebody has to click a button, so automatically look into that topic. If there's any item, it will take it, right? So, am I thinking right in any way that is there any way where we can make the observable, but there should be some process that should be running and keep on looking this one, right?
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I mean, like, Istio provides that, right? Like, I mean, so by default, like, it actually offers that. So,
like
which is kind of the good thing of Istio.
okay, now that particular aspect, can you, if you have time, I don't know, it's 8:50. If you have few minutes, can
Sure. Yeah, no, no. So, one thing is, like, when you're using Istio, it actually provides all these sidecars. So, what these sidecars do is they sit along with your container, and then they kind of monitor all the traffic that's coming to it and going out of it.
yeah.
It's not just the monitoring. They also create this mesh by kind of predetermining, like, where to talk to and who to talk to and things like that. They also, I mean, like, I mean, so the proxies do like a ton of work, of course, like, but one of the aspects of that is actually this observability. By observability, like, all, I mean, so the distance they go is, like, as to saying, so if a request comes in, because since it's all through the proxy, so the proxies can see the request, right? Like, it can actually see the exact request, like, as to seeing, okay, where it came from, at what time it came from, etc. And it also sees a response go through the proxy, so which is the reason why it can actually compute how long did this take, like, so it overall it actually computes a response time.
Mhm.
And yeah, so that is put together forms the observability, right? Like, so it can actually, along with that, like, it also, I mean, Istio does a lot more, like, by injecting the appropriate headers, the appropriate service name. So it populates that request with, like, the needed metadata. And then, Istio sends the telemetry to the mixer, and mixer can be configured to actually send that to, any backend.
But
So
can we configure it to read some specific topics from some bus? The
I think so. So recently, there has been work in the Istio community, like, where they have created a filter. I think, like, which can actually understand Kafka topics and things.
oh, they
So,
do.
like, yeah, I think, yeah, they do.
Okay.
So, I
So
think
it
it is
won't be
available in the
applications,
recent
it will
one.
be the sidecar you're talking about. Sidecar can be configured to read topics and then alert the main process saying, hey, something came
Right.
in.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly how it is working now. I mean, so fundamentally, like, Kafka is, like, doing TCP. Now, Envoy can do TCP. It has been doing TCP, but with specific to the protocol, what they had to do is they had to add that support in Envoy to actually be able to do it. Because I mean, for example, in case with HTTP, it's able to do it, right? Because it can read read the headers, read the information like okay where the request came from and all these extra metadata that's coming through headers, which means like it's able to read the HTTP request. Now with Kafka, in order to do the same thing, they had to add support, which is what they recently added. I'm not sure if it's already there upstream or it's already available there, but people are still working on putting it together in Istio. I'm not sure because I've not been paying attention to it, but I do know that there's been effort going on in that direction. So Istio, like for example, whenever a top message comes, so for example, you have a Kafka broker, you have the Envoy sidecar to it. So when a message comes to it and goes out of it, Envoy knows that communication is happening on a particular topic on Kafka,
Or
and
is
and
it using Kafka by itself for doing that thing? Envoy?
no,
No.
Istio doesn't use Kafka internally. Yeah,
I thought, well, because if you see Cassandra, right, it goes in a it's like a blockchain. It updates everybody,
right.
right? So I
Yeah,
thought
yeah, yeah.
Istio uses one of those softwares to do this.
No, I mean, for some parts it does. Like, for example, if there is a new service on the mesh, if there is a new service off the mesh, or I mean, if a service goes off the mesh, now all this metadata, is kind of being sent to all the envoy so that they pretty much know what's going on, or at least
Okay.
most of them get it. I think earlier it used to be doing it for all. I think now they're doing it selectively, but somehow, I mean, so that information is communicated to all the envoys, by pilot. So
But
fundamentally, that thing is happening.
why do the envoys need to know about it? Because they can always say, I need this service, and then they can look up for the main master kind of stuff. Then
Right.
it'll figure out,
So
send it to that on demand, send it to them rather than just propagating everything, right?
right. So the now that method has pros and cons, right? That's sort of how your Linux will work, right? So when you do when you try to make a curl call to Google, now what your mission will do is it'll try to do a DNS resolution first,
Mhm.
and then so if the DNS resolution takes probably 30 milliseconds, and now think about this, if that 30 milliseconds is going to happen for every request, that's going to slow things down for you because, for example, you have a program which makes 100 calls to Google. Now every request is going to do a DNS resolution that's going to be really slow for you. So the way usually Linux kernels work is that Linux does a DNS lookup and then it stores it
Cache,
so
yes,
there's a
cache.
cache
Yep.
exactly. So the DNS cache comes into play. It keeps it for I don't know 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever that is, and then so from the consecutive request it knows where to really talk to so it doesn't have to do a DNS resolution. So pretty much like that. Now the other side of that is this. So Istio is actually very successful in that regard that it actually does client-side load balancing. So for example, if you have a service and that service wants to talk to another service, but that service has 10 instances, right? And but of that 10 instances, there could be so for example, now at this moment there could be 10 instances. The next moment there could be 40 instances. The next moment there could be 2 instances, right? So now one way you could do is or Kubernetes does this is so all this will happen through the DNS resolution in the cluster and yes, but then what Istio makes it faster is actually by using the client-side load balancing and that knowledge that hey, what, of these 40 instances at this moment only 2 are there, or at this instance only 10 are there, it knows exactly where to route the request to. So that way it actually speeds up things much faster. I mean, that's one of the goals. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay. Great. Yeah, so I'll be starting my new job on October 14th. Until then,
cool.
I'll finish up what I'm doing in CSP, whatever it is, right? So then,
Cool, man.
because I'll be going to the new place is full of React and JavaScript and all this stuff. And now I've been
Nice.
everywhere, front end, back end, middle tier. It's like because I'm a consultant, so people expect me to help them in all aspects. So in a way, it's good that you learn things, but at the same time, you get too stretched. In hey, you're not like a specialist in like just I'll focus only on CSS and JavaScript
Yeah,
or just Java or something like that, right? So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I felt this particular project really stressed me so much. I told them, hey, I'm really I'll finish this whatever I'm doing, give you the deployment by 14th of next month, and I'll go out because it's like too much of for a short time it's okay, 1 2 months thing, but if it goes on forever, you're going to screw up your health. I mean, your work, your body is not meant to be like that. So I said, okay, sorry, but I'll finish this thing. We are delivering as per schedule, and after this particular Thursday, it will be most lighter because most of the things are done. It's just cleaning up things and deploying and all the stuff. So I'm like, okay, good. I'll have some Christmas time will be good for me in terms of at least it'll be real Christmas time where I'll have some relaxing time. Not relaxing, but at least one work than doing, you're like a machine, just do it, they'll say, okay, thank you, Ramesh doing great job, but that just that's good, but saying good things about people, but then at the same time you don't want to be stretched out so much that you feel like you don't have life. So yeah, so this will give me some ample time to just uh, breathe in, breathe in, breathe out kind of stuff, and then focus on just the UI part. And so now on the weekend, if I want to try, this will work. This Meshery thing.
Absolutely. I mean, it should be functional now. I mean, anytime.
Okay, so if on Saturday or something, if I get stuck or something, can I just ping you or something?
Absolutely, yeah. You like you said, ping the Meshery channel so that if I'm not available, Lee will be able to
Okay,
answer you. Or it could be somebody else in the community, who can actually answer you. And, that way you'll
sure.
be unblocked very quickly.
So your workshop in Canada is this Friday. What time?
It is on Friday. It is
What
from
time?
1 to 5
Okay.
Eastern time.
Oh, Eastern time. Oh, okay.
Eastern
The
time,
next
yeah.
time you have something in US, if it's online, it'll be great. Even if it's some on weekend, I can come and visit you. It'll be great.
Cool.
Let
Yeah,
me know.
sounds good. Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely.
Thanks. Yeah. Take care. Have a good day.
See you, Ramesh. Yeah, yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Karen. Karen, can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
On mute.
Hey, hey, no problem, no problem. It's very nice to have you here. I'm really sorry, he just started talking, and
No, don't
so
worry.
I didn't know how to jump
I
in.
really I couldn't contribute to, so it's okay. I was just hearing.
No problem. It's great to have you here. Lee has actually spoken, much about you.
Oh,
He has
really?
shared, yeah, he has. Yeah, I mean, I've seen all the logo designs, the new ones especially. Lee syncs up with me pretty much every day. And yeah, we have chats about the logos and and interestingly, I'm not sure if Lee told you this, we have been on a logo hunt for months.
Oh yeah, he
Um,
told me
so
that several times.
Nice, yeah. So the recently is when we're seeing some light, So I mean, he seems to be happy with the logos. I like them, absolutely. So we just I think finalizing. I don't know if there were any further communication with you and him yesterday because after that we haven't had time to sync up. It's but you know what, it's honestly it's very nice to actually have you. One quick question to you is that I think Lee probably wanted to ask this. He might have asked you this question. Do you have experience with UI design as well, UX, user experience design of web pages,
Oh
of
yeah,
applications in general?
yeah. I just finished a front end developer bootcamp, but I have a strong inclination for UI UX design. You could
Very
understand
nice.
I'm a designer. Um, but I'm still trying to figure out what which will be the best way to help to contribute to this project, because I see that you're like pretty advanced on the whole Meshery thing, and I'm just starting to learn how Kubernetes works.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, me and Lee, are the ones who started this project. So, I mean, don't let all that influence you. I mean, honestly, I mean, like, we've been working in this domain for some time, so, we thought, like, it's a good, sensible thing to start this project, and that's kind of why we started this. So, honestly, at the end of the day, like, everybody's here to learn, and obviously, like, I'm not sure if you already seen and seen played with Meshery. There's definitely a lot of UX improvements that are needed because I do full stack development, but then I'm not the best with UX. I wouldn't even qualify myself as good. So the way this project has been going is that we just started putting things together, and then we started evolving with it. So we didn't kind of this was not like done in a very formal way. It's kind of like how I would put it. It's not a complaint, but I mean, like, that's kind of how this project evolved. We kind of started off with something, and then we thought it'll be nice to do something else, and but the shift happened like way early, in the sense we started it sometime in January, and then towards the end of the month, like we were kind of shifting towards like something else, which is kind of what Meshery is becoming today, like, or the direction in which Meshery is heading today. So absolutely, like there's much of UX work like that needs to be done. So which is kind of the reason why Lee was actually well, I think he was planning to talk to you about it, or maybe he already did. Like I said, like I don't know about that part, but he did mention to me several times that he wanted to talk to you about it. So I'm just bringing it up in this meeting so that when he is talking to you, you'll be much more informed. But the other thing I would say is like when you have time, play with Meshery. If you can give some tips even before he does that, that'll be wonderful. I hope like where to look for Meshery and like get started with it, right?
Okay. Well, I need to fix some things on my computer to get Meshery running. So I think I'm going to start just playing with the interface, with the website, to see if I can find like any problem. And my first priority right now is to set down the logo problem, the logo issue.
Right.
I hope that Lee and the whole team can get to an understanding maybe this week. Like, I don't have a hurry about it, but he was telling me that you have to uh, put the logo on some banner for an event, I think for this weekend. So
That's correct.
it
Yeah.
will be nice
That
not to be switching from logo to logo each event.
yes.
So maybe this week will be good to have a winner.
Nice. Yeah, that's absolutely true, and this is exactly what I was telling Ramesh. So so I'm in Canada, Ottawa, and there is an event happening in Montreal, which is about like 200 kilometers from here. So I'm going there, and I'm presenting a workshop on Istio. So along with that, like as part of that workshop, I'm presenting Meshery to the entire audience, and I'm going to be making them use it. To go walk through the workshop. So he's right, and also we are working towards a booth at the workshop. So it'll be nice to actually have the logo finalized by then, like he said, which is absolutely right.
Okay, cool. And I don't know if you have like any specific doubt about that topic, about the logo or any design need.
No, actually, unfortunately, so I've been giving my feedback to Lee. I'm pretty sure, like, you've been getting it kind of as a collected feedback from him. Other than that, like, I don't have any specific ones. I do like the most recent ones you have been sending him. So they are like, much, much, much better than like, what Lee used to be putting together. Plus the color combinations, I kind of like that whole thing, so which is kind of very nice. So when printed on a banner, I think that whole thing will actually look much nicer. So that's the only update, like or the information I have for you, more like a feedback. But other than that, I don't have anything specific for you. Lee did actually want to be here to introduce the two of us to one another. Unfortunately, like he has a time deadline today, so which is the reason why he couldn't join this call.
Okay.
I'm very glad that like we had a chance to actually talk to one another the first time. So
Cool. Okay, well, I think that might be all. I don't know if you wanna sneak a peek on the last version that I updated to Lee's Drive.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I think I already have access to the drive. I will go and take a look at it.
Okay.
So this meeting is going to end in 5 minutes. Oh, but you know what? Like, if you want to share a screen and show it to me, like, I'll be very happy to see it. Absolutely. But in 5 minutes, this call is going to end. Like, I'm not sure if you're seeing the timer on the left top. It tells me there's a
Oh, so
remaining
that's what
time
it
of 5 minutes.
is.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I think, yeah, I don't know much about this configuration, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just some slight changes.
Gotcha. I remember seeing the first two at the top last night. I think Lee actually sent it to me,
Yeah, I
but
was
the
pretty
bottom
close to
two.
that. This is like an introduction to the identity manual that we should be working on in the next months. Like once we have uh, the logo set with color, we can determine it how it's supposed to be used over different circumstances, like in just black or just white, over a dark background or over a light background. So I thought that this might be helpful because I don't know how the banner is going to be. Like it's gonna be red, blue, yellow, maybe colors that don't get along with green. Then you may have to use a black and white version.
Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, that looks good. Like, absolutely. I mean, wow. Yeah, that's definitely great.
Okay, so that was all.
Okay. Yeah. No, this is great. I mean, like, Lee is definitely much excited. Same as me. Like, we're going to be finalizing a logo very soon. That's definitely a great step for layer 5. So, so that's definitely an awesome thing.
Cool.
Glad that it's happening around the right time, because we have a few presentations planned for the rest of the year. So this is coming in at about the right time. That's awesome. Awesome, Karen. If you don't have anything else, it was very nice to meet you. Let's meet in the next meetings. If you are available on Fridays, Friday from, I'm not sure, like, which time zone are you in? Are you in Austin?
No, I'm in Mexico.
Oh, you're in Mexico. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
cool.
where Lee and I meet.
Oh, at the Guadalajara.
Yes,
Oh, gotcha. Cool. That's very
I was
nice.
doing
That's very nice.
volunteer work at the CCOSS event.
I see. Okay, very nice. Very nice. Oh, that's fantastic. Now, so what I was trying to say was that we have our community meeting every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. I'm
Okay.
not sure what time zone you are in. Are you in Central?
Yeah, I think we have the same time.
Uh, uh, I mean, I think you and Lee have the same time. I'm in
Oh,
Eastern
yeah,
actually.
that's what I meant.
Yeah,
Sorry.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're available in Eastern, like, sorry, in Central, it is at 10 a.m. on Fridays. If you're
Okay.
available at 10 a.m. Central, like, please feel free to join our community call. There you'll see some updates from Meshery, and, like, we'll be giving, like, the weekly update overall. So I think it'll be a good place for you to also get started, and yeah, go from there. So yeah, I think that'll be a good place for you to actually join and also meet the other members. I think the call is going to come to an end, so I'll take leave. Very nice to meet you, Karen. See you soon.
Likewise. Bye.
Bye.